Hello again. Today, as we're all under a lot of pressure for various reasons, I'm going to talk about how to stay well when you're stressed. And the theme is the same as yesterday. The philosophy is the same simple philosophy as yesterday. How to look after your body even when you're under stress. Because what you do then is you reduce the internal stress that is present. Even though there's a lot of external stress around you, you can reduce considerably the internal stress that's taking place, perhaps because substances that are coming in are dehydrating, they're acidifying, and making your body generally feel uncomfortable and stressed in the first place before there's any external stress coming in. So we've already said that your cells are like the building blocks of a house, that they make up the you that is you. And it's a question of whether you like those cells to be surviving or absolutely thriving in a really healthy arena. So let's have a look at what happens when your body's stressed. What happens is that its ability to cleanse goes down. Its ability to clear out the wastes that you metabolize each day. Crucially, your immune system goes down when you're stressed due to all the adrenal hormones that are being produced. You also lose water through sweat and other means that occur when you're again under stress, and you start to misplace it into the wrong place. So you start perhaps to swell more. For example, some people find when they're stressed that they get a swollen tummy by the end of the day. Also, your blood pressure goes up, your cholesterol starts to raise, and your heart rate also raises. Now, the raised cholesterol due to stress, they even knew about during the 1950s, as long ago as that, and the raised blood pressure as well. Interestingly, in terms of being able to think clearly, the blood supply to your frontal cortex goes down, and the blood supply to your digestion goes down. And so what happens then is that your ability to absorb food well is also compromised. What we really need for our body to be doing is, well, for it to be in a state of growth and repair. And so we're restoring our body to a healthy state, repairing any cellular damage, growing new cells. And when we're in that state is the time when we can really feel inspired, have new ideas, be creative, because we're in a really safe space then. And the body feels safe enough to work properly, not only at a physical level, but also at a mental level. So when we're stressed, we produce adrenaline. It's an ancient stress response. Unfortunately, it creates a state of dehydration in the body quite naturally, and it's what I tend to refer to as being on dehydration alert, in that it's a state where the body is not comfortable. It's not generating healthy reactions, if you like. Caffeine is something that puts the body into a state of dehydration alert. In fact, Stephen Chernivtsi, who spent 10 years researching the effects of caffeine in the body, says that caffeine puts the body into a state that is a little bit like a war zone, just always expecting something about to be happening that is perhaps not a good thing. Sugar is also very stressful for the body and also considerably lowers immunity. And then, of course, external stress, the thing that we can respond to if we react in a certain way. And there is a lot of reaction going on at the moment in terms of external stress. And so what I would draw a focus back from is reacting to the external stress with the thought, well, what can I actually do to create a state in my body that is healthy, that is not going to be in the same position, as a position of illness. So there's always a catch-22 with stress, because stress is a very dehydrating state. We sweat more, our heart rate increases, our breathing rate increases. All of those things cause a water loss. All of the metabolic processes that take place in the body under stress create a more dehydrated state. And if you can imagine, when your body is dehydrated, it becomes even more stressed, because each and every one of your 100 trillion, or depending on which anatomy and physiology book you read, cells in the body becomes more dehydrated. The more dehydrated you become at a cellular level, the more stressed you become internally. And that internal dehydration is a state of stress, which causes more stress, which causes more dehydration, which causes more stress. And so we're in a real feedback loop of stress, which is a very uncomfortable place to be. So to reduce stress, let's focus on how we can get well and leave the fear virus, which is very prevalent at the moment, a long way behind. And back to thinking about those cells, what we need to do is create an environment that they can really thrive in. So if you had your goldfish living in a bowl in your living room, and gradually over time you put the food in and the fish is swimming around and eating it and passing waste, of course, and gradually the water begins to look a bit murky, and you carry on feeding the fish, and after some time the fish starts to become very sluggish and it's not eating its food, and you look down at the poor fish and you think, well, perhaps I'd better get something from the vet. So you get something from the vet and you pour it into the water, and the fish doesn't improve, because what we need to do is change the water in the bowl. We need to change the environment that the fish is swimming around in. And it's a little bit like that in the body. So yesterday we talked about hydration. And ideally, we need the cleanest water that we can afford. Now, we're quite lucky with Aqua's water because it's from a borehole, and it's actually around a pH of 7 from the testing that I've done anyway. And I do filter it, but fortunately it's a very good quality water. Another thing that we can do is to bring in as many vegetables as possible each day into our diet, because vegetables are containers of the most amazing mineralization that is right for holding water correctly in the body. And I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow, and how they help the body become more alkaline. which is exactly the state that your cells, your tissues and your blood want to be in. We also need sunshine, our lovely vitamin D, and fresh air as much as possible. We need to be able to move our bodies as freely as possible, as often as possible. They don't do well sitting still and becoming stagnant. We all need to have a sense of purpose, feel compassion and hope, and to be loved and love each other. All of those things are very important for nurturing the body-mind too. The one thing I'd like to focus on as we finish today, though, is linseed tea. Linseed tea is what I like to refer to, along with some other things that I'll perhaps mention along the way, slow water. And so as you drink water, it's absorbed fairly quickly through the mucous membranes in the gut. The kidney uses it to filter electrolytes and uric acid and so on. Your liver uses it to filter the detoxification processes that it's going through to clean your blood, 1,700 litres of blood a day. And linseed tea is something that offers water to the body much more slowly. The mucilage in linseeds is great, absolutely fantastic at soaking up water and swelling with water, and the effects of that fibrous mucilage soak into the water of the linseed tea, and as you drink it, you absorb little by little the water that's being held in the mucilage that you're drinking. Now don't worry, because it doesn't really taste of anything very much at all, but it is an incredibly what we call swollen message. The fibre that is in some grains, that is in linseeds, is very, very beneficial for the gut. And if we soak it, so much more so. So the linseed tea helps bile flow because it's so hydrating. It helps gut motility, again, because it's so hydrated. I'm going to put a recipe up on my Facebook page above this presentation so that you can pick it up from there. And I'll also put the linseed tea recipe onto my website under recipes. And if you've got any questions about it, please ask me. What I would suggest is that you add it, depending on how anxious you're feeling, that you add it into your water intake 2 to 4 times a day. Start with a couple of times and see how you get on, and then you can increase it if you want to. It's a very comforting drink, and it's what the naturopathic college that I trained with like to call a hug in a mug. So tomorrow I'm going to have a look at our lovely friend vegetables. Thank you.